Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about stuff and things, I will be recapping episode 2 of Last One Standing, their survival competition where 14 survivalists compete for $100,000 and the title of Last One Standing. Dun dun dun. Before I continue, link below are some surveys. If you want to fill them out, that's great. If you don't, that's also fine. And I was wrong because in the last recap I said Patrick was scouting out the area for day 5 and I was completely wrong. They just didn't show what he was doing and people were being, wink wink nudge nudge for no reason, and I feel played and I need to stop falling for these tricks. But anyway, we start out the episode with a cold front. I don't know about a cold front, but it's basically super, super cold, and all the survivalists have to be given pelts. And Jeff is upset because everyone is given pelts, and now his advantage is done for. And so basically, production is sabotaging him at this moment, but he still gets screen time. So I guess they really don't care about being thrown under the bus by Jeff. We also see Kate having difficulties with the cold because of the wind. Her eyes are watering. Her feet have become white because of the poor circulation she has. And within the first few minutes of the episode, on day 5, she unfortunately taps from the challenge. And with her, she takes the hide she was given and her kukri knife because she's still playing the game and is putting Jeff and Patrick at a disadvantage. And Jeff is not too pleased because he was nice, and niceness should be rewarded with more niceness. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And so we have our challenge, and it is a reward challenge, which is great. I think I said that in my criticism of season 1, they should do some reward challenges, and I feel like I'm finally correct on something. During this challenge, the survivalists had to go and look through elephant dung to get Mopani seeds. They had to find 20 specifically, and then afterwards they had to chew out the Mopani seeds, and they had to use it as quote-unquote bait for the trap they had to make. I can't remember the name of the trap they had to make, but it's the sort of upside-down basket trap that's used for birds. And Kai used it in her recent challenge to catch an armadillo, and it has been used successfully in the past, but I apologize for not remembering the name. And we get pretty much an hour of this happening, and long story short, Kai, Darrin, and Bulent get first place, and their reward is 3 ostrich eggs. Then Dan, Fernando, and Trish get second, and their reward is 2 ostrich eggs. Gary, Dani, and Lindsey get third place, and they get 1 ostrich egg, while Jeff and Patrick finish last, and they get no ostrich eggs. Jeff and Patrick are basically blaming the other for not winning because Patrick says Jeff didn't know how to build the trap, and Patrick also had to tell Jeff what to do, and Jeff blamed Patrick for not making the correct trigger mechanism. So there's a lot of blame being placed back and forth. And then after this reward challenge, we see some of the survivalists eating some of their ostrich eggs, and they're happy, and Jeff and Patrick are determined to do better and get food, and they don't need no stinking eggs, I believe is what Patrick said. But the next few days we see, the next few days in the show, not over the next few days in real life. And in the show, over the next few days, the different groups are trying to find food, and there's a trade that happens because Dan, Trish, and Fernando are trying to think of the best thing to trade their bow and arrows for, and they talk to Kai, Darrin, and Bulent, and basically Dan gives Kai's group one of their bows and arrows, and Kai's group gives Dan's group one of the ostrich eggs, and also the promise that if Kai's group were to get a major animal hunt, then they would share it. And so we'll see how that goes. And then Gary gets a squirrel, and then Patrick and Jeff get a ton of fish, and then Trish has the idea of making a net using some of the rope that they have, and it is put together, and Dan goes fishing and catches a bunch of fish. So kudos to them for all getting some food and some necessary assets. Congrats to Kai's team for getting first in the competition. And next time, there's going to be another elimination happening. So we shall see what happens with that. And with that, that is the end of the recap. PSRs have gone up and down. I showed them previously, but I can't see them right now, so I can't give specifics. I know Dan's has gone up and Kai's has gone up, and a few have gone down. So that's really sad. Oh, and Dani's storyline of being a vegetarian, being difficult, is shown a lot. So she's getting a lot of storylines. So the assumption is that she makes it a bit farther than a lot of other people because they wouldn't spend time giving her the storyline. But it's really interesting to see Dani get that storyline happening. And also she feels like an outcast in her group, which is interesting because on XL1, she and Alana kind of outcasted Dani from their group. So it's interesting seeing the parallels with that because Lindsey and Gary have been on a challenge together and they eat meat. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And also Dan's storyline comes up of him getting second place, and he knows exactly how much food is important and getting it as soon as possible and not sitting around. So he's thinking several steps ahead of, okay, what can I do to guarantee me food in the future? So when I take on these challenges, I can think more clearly and have the energy to do it, as opposed to, oh no, I've conserved all my energy. Now I've used it all up in this one challenge. What am I to do? So it'll be interesting to see where Dan and Dani's storylines continue from here in episode 3 and who will be eliminated next. We shall see. My assumption is Trish or Lindsey gets eliminated next, but we shall see because I'm going off of the trailers and who I think is early outs. But, you know, you never know what can happen. I could be very much wrong. But thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all for listening. Please like, comment nice things, and subscribe. Please click the next video if it's fine, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye now. Bye-bye.